Okay, so I'm going to start with a question that might seem a little weird at first, but just stick with me here. Are you a thermostat or are you a thermometer?
Seriously, think about it for a second. In your life, in your friendships, in your community, do you just sort of reflect the temperature of the room, or are you the one who actively sets it? This is the big idea we're going to unpack today. The difference is so simple, but it's absolutely profound. See, a thermometer is passive. All it does is tell you what the conditions are. But a thermostat? Oh, that's a whole different story. It's an agent of change. It decides what the conditions should be and then gets to work to make it happen.
It's really the difference between reflection, just mirroring whatever's already there, and creation, actively shaping the kind of climate you want to be in.
So let's take a closer look at what it means to be a thermometer. And, well, we're going to start with a bit of a cautionary tale.
I want you to meet Bob Hayes. Back in the 1960s, this guy was an absolute superstar. I mean, they literally called him the world's fastest human. His resume was just incredible. He snagged an Olympic gold medal in the 100-meter dash. Then, as if that wasn't enough, he switched to professional football and became an all-pro wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. The man was at the absolute peak of success. And then, it all just fell apart. In 1979, Bob Hayes, the hero, the world's fastest man, was sentenced to prison for selling narcotics to an undercover agent. It was a stunning, shocking fall from grace.
So you have to wonder what happened. Well, according to Hayes himself, the whole thing came down to his inability to choose his friends wisely. He surrounded himself with people who gave him terrible advice, and he just reflected their negative lifestyle. He was a thermometer, and the temperature around him was completely toxic. So what's the alternative? Let's flip the coin and look at the other side, an incredibly inspiring story about what it means to set the temperature. This is a story about two women, Margaret and Ruth. Both of them were living in a convalescent center, and they shared a passion. They were both amazing pianists. But they also shared a tragedy. Both had suffered strokes that took away their ability to play. And the nature of their disabilities was just heartbreakingly specific. Margaret's stroke damaged her left side, so she couldn't use her left hand. Ruth's damaged her right side. Separately, they were incomplete. And you can imagine, they had both completely given up hope of ever making music again. But the director of the center had this idea. It was so simple, but honestly, it was brilliant. He sat them down together at the same piano. He asked them to play, with Margaret's good right hand and Ruth's good left hand working together. The result? It was beautiful. As our source material puts it, what one member cannot do alone, perhaps two or more could do together, in harmony. They became a thermostat. They didn't just accept their brokenness, they actively created a new reality. They set a temperature of harmony and hope. This brings us right to the core of it all, taking this concept from just a couple of individuals and applying it to a whole community. Now, in our source material, this idea of a community thermostat is explored through the concept of the church, but the principle itself is totally universal, whether you call it a team, a movement, or a family. It's about a group of people united by a common belief, all working together to set a positive climate. And the crucial point here is that we're actually designed to fit together, like puzzle pieces. Just like with Margaret and Ruth, our individual weaknesses can be completely covered by someone else's strengths. We're not just better when we're united, we're actually more whole. So what does this actually look like in practice? A community of thermostats actively sets a positive climate. They don't just wait around for it to happen. They show love, they encourage each other, they're kind and forgiving. They serve together as one united body, creating their own temperature, instead of just reflecting the world's. And this all leads right back to a personal challenge for each and every one of us. This line right here really gets to the heart of the matter. This whole journey to becoming a world changer, a thermostat, it's not a solo mission. We find our courage in community. And there's some deep wisdom in this. The source points out why the disciples were sent out in pairs. It's a built-in support system. It just makes sense, right? When one person feels weak, the other can provide the strength. Ultimately, this isn't just about being more effective. It's about finding joy. Real, lasting fulfillment comes from being an agent of change, from actively setting a positive temperature in the world around you. Which brings us right back where we started. What about you? In your life, with your family, in your community,
Are you going to be a passive thermometer, simply reflecting the culture around you? Or are you going to be a thermostat, actively setting a climate of hope, love, and change? The choice is all yours.